I'm delighted to be speaking with Ailein Bonaparte today. Hello Ailein, welcome.
Hello Rani, good to be here.
Terrific. Ailein, can you tell us a little bit about your Tai Chi journey?
Well, I'd always wanted to learn Tai Chi. When I lived in Los Angeles, I used to go through Chinatown, and early in the morning everybody would be outside doing Tai Chi, and I said one day I'm going to do that, and I never found the time. So when I returned to Australia, I suddenly found myself without sort of any real support. I mean, I had my family, but all of a sudden all the people I knew had gone. And I thought, well, now's the time to learn Tai Chi. And I had an amazing piece of good fortune. I heard about a Tai Chi class in the community I was living in at the moment. And I walked in one day, and Elva Arthi was teaching the class. I think you could not get a better beginning to Tai Chi than having Elva. And Elva has sort of mentored me along my way and encouraged me. And then I bought a DVD to practice my Tai Chi with, and I got a brochure for the Sydney conference. So I walked into Elva and I said, by the way, Elva, is this thing any good? And she said, you know, Elva, she said, you are going to go. And I did. And that's what, about 4 or 5 years ago now. And I wouldn't miss the Sydney conference, particularly now I live somewhat remotely. And it brings me back to where I want to be. We have a good master trainer in Toowoomba, so I keep up with that part of the program. And then this last year, I had to be in the US, so I went to the conference in the workshop in Asheville. And now I'm back here. And what it's done for me is we have many families in life. And for me, the Tai Chi family has also become my coming back to Australia family. I now know people all over Australia because of Tai Chi. And that is not just what I get out of it from the physical, the exercise, the intellectual, mental aspects of it, but I now have this whole circle of friends, including you, Rani. If anybody ever asks me about Tai Chi teachers in Melbourne, I give them your email.
Thank you, Ailein.
But that's basically my journey.
How wonderful. So it's about an opportunity to connect with others as well as all the physical benefits.
All the physical thing. But that's what I didn't expect that. That was the unexpected part, which is, I think, says a lot for this organization.
I agree. I haven't met an unfriendly Tai Chi person in the Tai Chi for Health community yet. Could you talk a little bit about your husband and your background in America?
I went to the US to go to university. And I had fully intended to come back, but at that time in the US they suddenly were hiring scientists and mathematicians who were women. Actually, I think they were just trying to hire women who happened to be. And I got a job almost immediately, and I stayed in the US. And I worked at various places, eventually went into doing research and this sort of thing. And I met my husband, got married and stayed. And it was a big thing I considered that when he passed on, that I would come back to Australia. But I had a very interesting life, not only my own work. I've worked for people like the LA Opera, the LA Philharmonic, Hollywood Bowl, a wonderful organization called the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, doing research, done a lot of marketing research. And my husband had a rather glamorous life. He didn't know it, but he just went straight through it. It never concerned him. But just people I met and places that I went. I remember one time going to a function, and I realized that sitting at the head table were at least 3 women who had been married to the old star Eddie Fisher. There was Elizabeth Taylor, Debbie Reynolds, and somebody else who had been married to him. And I thought, what am I doing here? You know, I'm a little girl from Queensland. I shouldn't be here. But it was a lot of fun. And it was an adventure. And when I came back here, it was another adventure.
That's wonderful. And I guess one other question, sometimes people might look at this and think, I'd like to try Tai Chi, but you know, I'll do it when I retire or when I'm older. What would you suggest to people?
Well, for me, what I should have done, instead of saying one day, when I saw all these lovely people out in LA doing Tai Chi, I should have gone and pursued it there and then. Because in those days, it wasn't as fashionable. Now you can find it in various, mainly in senior centers. I wish people would look at Tai Chi as being something for people who were younger, because then you'd get a head start on it, which is what that's probably one thing I regret. I didn't start on it sooner. And I think anybody who's thinking about doing it, do it now. Don't put it off. It takes a lot of time, but it doesn't take a lot of time. The wonderful thing about Tai Chi is once you've learned a few things, if you've got 5 minutes, you can put together a little form for yourself. You know, you can do a couple of warm-ups, do something you're working on, and then, you know, and it's probably very beneficial for you in taking a break.
Terrific. And the other thing I find you really inspiring is you live in quite a remote area of Australia, and yet you're still able to learn Tai Chi.
It's not easy. There are various things floating around in my area that they are Tai Chi. Unfortunately, they're not particularly safe for older people. But my theory is, okay, they're happy, they're doing it, they're moving. But if I can get people to work with the Tai Chi for Health program, I know they'll probably get a lot more out of it, probably stick with it longer.
Is there any final thing you'd like to share with us?
Well, of course, when I walk away from this, I'll say, God, I should have said that. But I think one of the important things I've learned over the last couple of years is that we really should respect the credentials we get from the Tai Chi for Health Institute. I'm not saying we shouldn't on occasions do things for free as outreach and this sort of thing, but I've seen so many Tai Chi teachers who've been taken advantage of because they're good people and they want to spread Tai Chi. And there's a difference between being a volunteer and an unpaid worker. And I think it's so important that we value ourselves and how important this credential is. It's worth something. We should respect ourselves and respect this credential.
Terrific. Thank you so much.